So I've lived and worked on cruise ships now for 2 contracts. I kind of understand the lifestyle a bit more now, and I kind of wanted to go into the pros and cons of working and living on a cruise ship. Te amo, she says to me. I hear pain in her voice. So if you haven't watched my video yet, I would recommend you do so because I talk more about what my life is like working on board, and I also talk about what my position is. So if you haven't watched this video, I'll give you an update right now. But I work on board as a content specialist with Carnival. So I live and work on board for about 5 to 7 months out of the year, which is, I know, it's crazy, but some people do longer. Anyways, this contract that I just finished was 5 months long. So I do work in the entertainment department. So I can't really say what life would be like on board as a housekeeping attendant or someone that's in photography. I could only really talk about my personal experience, and also I just want to say that this video is not a reflection on Carnival or the company at all. This is just my personal opinion on the pros and cons of living and working on a cruise ship. But regardless to say, I have seen different patterns across different departments, and even though each experience is different, I feel like the pros and cons I'll say is an experience that multiple departments do have. And this is gonna be not glamorized, it's not gonna be luxurious, it's just gonna be real, and I'm just gonna keep it 100. So let's start off with the pros of living and working on a cruise ship. So first things first is you get to travel for free. That's the best part, and that will forever be my number one. And it'll also be the number one reason I always and probably will always go back. Yeah. Just the fact that I get such an exposure to the world. Like, yeah, I knew about Aruba, yeah, I knew about Curacao, but did I ever think I would make the time to go there? Like, no. And the flights there, like, honestly, I've never even looked up flights there, but I do think they're kind of expensive. Like, they're more like, depending on your version or, you know, definition of expensive. For me, I feel like anything 200 up, like, it's a trip. Like, we're doing the thing, you know? And before Carnival, I would have never been like, oh, I'm gonna go to Aruba with the girls, or Curacao, or Bonaire, or Puerto Rico. Maybe Puerto Rico, actually. Yeah, I think Puerto Rico. But still, like, it's like you go to sleep one day, you wake up in the middle of the ocean, and then you go to sleep the next, and then next thing you know, you're literally in Aruba. Like, that's crazy work. And like, I got to go back so many times to Aruba. Like, we went back every 2 weeks, or like once a month or twice a month. And then when we weren't in Aruba, we were in Dominican Republic. And then when we weren't there, we were in Puerto Rico. Like, it's one of those experiences where you're able to experience so many different cultures in a short amount of time. And like, the places that we go to are places that people would go to vacation for like a week, and then we get to experience for a day, and the day is like, and I say that in a good way, surprisingly, because like, it's like a fast track experience to the culture, to the country, and you're able to decide if you want to go back for a longer vacation, or if you just want to experience for the day and you're like, you know what, that's enough. So regardless, after living in Europe for, you know, 5 years, this was a different way for me to explore a different side of the world, and yeah, it was completely worth it. 100%. Okay, so pro number 2, financial reset. When I tell you, after traveling and living in Europe for 5 years, I was outside, y'all. I mean, I stayed outside on this contract, but still, I stayed outside when I was in Europe, and that means money was spent and credit card debt was accumulated. But working on the cruise ship, like, I got to save so much money. Yes, I'm American. Yes, they take taxes out, but honestly, like, you don't even feel it that much because you're not paying for rent and you're not paying for any of the amenities, so to speak. Like, no rent, food included, laundry free, no groceries. Like, what? But honestly, like, real talk though, the amount that you spend on board, it also trickles down to discipline, because like I said before in a previous video, you're able to save a lot, but you're also given opportunities to spend. So even though it can be a financial reset, you got to be smart about what you're spending on. Are you going on excursions? Are you going out to the dining places where you actually have to spend money? So it's like, there's still a balance to the life of financial reset while living and working on board, but real talk, you can regardless save a whole bunch of money. Also, adding on that really quick, there's no commute. Like, I don't have to drive to work. I don't have to take the bus. I don't have to take the metro. I can literally just wake up, walk 3 minutes to my office, and I'm at work. So that's also super convenient in regards to the financial reset, because I'm not paying money on gas. I'm not paying money on a metro card, like, period. Okay, y'all, so pro number 3, you are forced to grow. You are forced to grow. There's no choice but growth. Like, there's no way but up unless you leave. Like, you don't really get to avoid being introverted. You know what I'm saying? Like, you are always going to be put in a situation where you are meant to converse, where you are meant to communicate with others. So, like, if you're someone that is shy, if you're someone that's more like kept to yourself, ship life will make you want to put yourself out there because you want to make friends. You want to be going out to eat with people. Like, y'all. You also learn how to live in small spaces. If you would have met me 3 years ago and you would have asked me, yo, let's solo travel and let's stay in a hostel, I would have said no. I would have said absolutely not. Now, I love a hostel moment. Like, if you were to ask me now, I'd be like, yeah, let's go. Or we're going to London, let's stay in a hostel. Okay, bet. Saving money also. Like, it changes your perspective on how you live in certain spaces, which is low-key pretty cool. Other things that you're forced to grow on is like handling conflict. Like, the way that you're able to, or the way that I've been able to manage conflict working on board, it's always a weird relationship, right? Because let's say you're friends with someone that you work with directly, but then personally y'all are beefing, but like professional wise, you guys are great. You have to be able to find a balance to handle that conflict, like conflict resolution. Like, it's one of the skills that I've been able to grow in the most because I'm able to really think about what I want to say before I say it. I'm able to think about my delivery because delivery on ships matters. Like, yeah. And then lastly, in regards to growth, you're able to adapt quickly. I'm adaptable. I've lived cross country. I've had to adapt in Italy, in Spain, and wherever else I've traveled to. Living in or on a ship, like, you are surrounded by so many cultures. People from India, people from Europe, of course, people from the Caribbean. Like, there are so many different aspects of like the cultural pool that we have on board. Like, you have to adapt to those different things or else you're not gonna last long. I'm sorry, that's the truth. You're not. And honestly, that kind of resilience that you learn on ships, it's really hard to replicate on land. So yeah, that's real talk. Okay, and then number 4 of another pro is like intense connection. Like, I wanted to work on ships specifically because I wanted like a new friend group. Not to say I wanted to replace my old ones, just saying I wanted to meet new people. I wanted to experience new connections. And being on ships, time moves fast, which also means relationships move fast. The friendships I've created on ships, I know and I feel are gonna last a lifetime. Like, it's insane. Like, you know these people for like 5, 6, 7 months, but you'll feel like you've known them for years. It's insane. You build bonds so quickly, but it's so beautiful to experience. And it's like, I guess a little bit of a con in that is that, let's say they sign off before you have to go through like leaving them which is traumatic in itself. But that's really the only thing about that. Yeah, the bonds you make, so far, like, they've lasted, and I feel like they're gonna continue to last. Like, I'm gonna visit my girl in South Africa next year. Like, she's gonna visit me in Miami. So it's like one of those things. It's really cool. There's also different aspects of those like intense relationships because, like, I'm someone who really believes in the whole saying that friendships come in a lifetime, a season, or a reason. So in that chapter of my life, do I have those friends that I've made? 100%. Are there also friendships I've lost on the ship? Unfortunately so. But you learn kind of how to navigate that and navigate that friendship, what's worth saving, what's worth not, especially because you're living on a ship where everything is so intense. So that's also something else to think about. So we've gone through the pros. Now let's go through the cons. So con number 1, you don't really have an off switch. The off switch is pretty much non-existent. You don't clock out in the same way you would clock out if you are working on land, right? It's not like I'm working at the office, okay, I'm finished, 6 p.m., I clock out, I go home, I chill, I binge watch, I have my glass of wine. No, it's not that kind of situation. Like, even though you still have that vibe when you're working on ships, like, it's different because mentally you're not really clocked out. Like, you still have to be on call, so to speak. So it's not like you can just forget about work while you're home for the evening, because when you're on the ship and you're in your cabin and you're home, it's really hard to turn your mind off of work. So the mental shut off, yeah. Con. Con number 2, you don't really have privacy. Like, there is a lack of privacy while living and working on a cruise ship. Your world gets really small. Cabins are small and alone time is limited. Even when you're in your cabin, right? You're not really alone, right? Because you're sharing the space with a roommate. Even when you're sleeping with someone living above you or below you. You hear them moving, you're a little self-conscious sometimes. Like, it's one of those things where privacy it's a bit hard to be granted that unless you have a single cabin. And my position does not allow me to have a single cabin. Sometimes that can feel overwhelming, like, but you adjust, you get used to it, and then you realize when you're back on land, how much more thankful you can be for the little moments of privacy that you actually get. Con number 3, you experience a lot of mental fluctuations, you know what I mean? Mental and emotional. I know one of the cons I just mentioned was lack of privacy, but there are moments on board where you can feel really alone, which means sometimes life can feel very isolating when you're living and working on board. You miss milestones back home, like I've missed friends' birthdays, I've missed like girls' trips, like I've missed them because I've been working on board. So the whole mental and emotional effect that missing your people's stuff back home can feel like, it's hard. Like, missing those milestones, it can be tough. But at the end of the day, you're still living in a bubble. So whatever is happening on board, it can affect you mentally and emotionally, which is why this can be a con, because sometimes it's hard to find a good, just like flat ground. Like, sometimes you want life on board to just be boring so that your emotions don't go like this, but sometimes you can't help yourself, because what happens in the bubble literally low-key stays in the bubble. But if this is your only like living experience, like you live where you work, it's hard to kind of separate those two things in your mind. And con number 4 is the big longevity question. It's kind of like, before you start working on ships, right? You're like, oh, I'm gonna apply. It's like a regular job. It's like, it's not. Literally, it's a lifestyle change. It's like you are on board, living on board for 5 to 7, 8, 9 months sometimes on a cruise ship. That is your world. You're not home. You're like, this is your home. You know what I mean? So having that question in your mind, okay, how long am I going to be doing this for? Is this sustainable for me, who I am as a person? Do I want a work-life balance? Am I going to be doing this for the next 5 years? Like, the longevity questions of how long you want to put your body and your mind through working and living on a cruise ship, it's a real thing. But if it's what you want for the moment, it's cool. But when you start thinking of, like, if you're a long-term planner and you're like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, it can be a little bit of a struggle sometimes. And I'm someone who really does believe, like, I do believe that ships are powerful for a season, but sometimes that doesn't mean that it can be a lifetime. But of course that depends on who you are as a person, as well as the department that you work on. I know people in different departments, because I'm entertainment, that have worked with the company or just on cruise ships for like 20, 30, 40, 50 years. And if this is a career choice for you, like if you're like an engineer, okay, valid. But if you're someone in entertainment, for example, who's to say that that's how long you're going to be doing this for, unless you actively choose, this is the lifestyle that I want for pretty much the rest of my life. So it's pretty heavy, but it doesn't have to be. So who should do this? Who should do ship life? My personal opinion, if you're in a transitional phase in your life, this can be for you. If you need to stack money, this can also be for you. And if you want intense growth, ships, yeah, this can be for you. Basically, long story short, ships can be incredible. But at the same time, if you're looking for something more stable, like if you're looking for stability, if you're looking for rootedness, if you're looking for a nice work-life balance, ship life could be a little tricky. Either way, you have to choose this lifestyle and you have to be deliberate about it. And if you're honestly considering ship life, just be intentional about why you're choosing it. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to like and subscribe. And yeah, if you want to see what's gonna go and what's gonna happen next in this crazy, spontaneous life that I live, make sure to stay tuned. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao for now.